plantation. Oh, plantation. 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation. Saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating. Ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Joys and tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation, picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. Yeah. We in captivity, we done lost our history. Disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets. Walking in darkness and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures. Murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle. Showing fruits of the spirit, we don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying.
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? The second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright, okay? Listen. The workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay. Any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay. So let me meet you on the money making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Chef D-Nail. Over here, guess who's cooking? Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And, of course, we got the world-famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773-992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday, all right? And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2, all right? You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking, and of course on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down, get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and being light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't top my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me now. Tell me what you need to find.
And Khan, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Kom Yasha'Allah, rise Israel. Double honors to our elders that are waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel in these last days. All right. For this lesson is called AFROMAN for President, and I'm going to be doing this lesson. My name is Chaasadyah, and my swordsman for today is
Chaasadyah.
Khan. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Mashiach Yahweh Shai. All right. So, what we're going to do now is, Slaki, we're going to start off with the Lord's Prayer. Okay. And that's going to be in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. We're going to say it in the Paleo Hebrew. All right. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malachbaka, Thaba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nadananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalafnawa, Kabawafianawa, Wala'a, Thabayanawa, Banasaiwan, Abo, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapalaraf, Laiwalamnyam, Amen. Khan. So, like the title says, Afro Man for president. You know what I'm saying? Let's get the orange man out and get the Afro Man in. We're going to talk about how the Afro Man, he's a rapper, you know what I mean? Coming out of the West Coast. Now I believe he is somewhere in the Midwest, if I'm not mistaken, Ohio or something like that. And pretty much went to war with the police and won. You know what I mean? We're going to talk about all that and more because there's so much news we need to cover in this day and age. What's going on in the so-called Middle East? What's going on in the skies of Babylon? It's a lot. It's a bit much, as they say. All right. But without further ado, let's start it up. Let's first of all, we gotta say fair use act. We play some videos, which this is a lesson, learning, teaching. So fair use act. All right, let's start with Habakkuk chapter 3, verse 2. All right. And when you got it, King, you can bring it out.
Khan, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, and verse 2. O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy.
Khan, so what's going on right now is there's some things in the sky, unexplainable things in the sky, things that, you know, the United States, Babylon, modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, modern day Egypt, whatever you want to call it, the Syrian, they are not talking about. seems like they're even trying to ignore it. You know what I'm saying? But anything that this country tries to ignore, we like to highlight and talk about it, discuss these things, and see what might be occurring and tying it to biblical scripture. Go ahead, read next verse.
And his brightness was as a light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was in the hiding of his power.
Salaki, is that verse 3?
Oh, Salaki, that verse 4. Salaki.
Okay.
Verse 3. God came to Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise.
So coming out of Edom, right? Go ahead.
And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power.
Okay. Now, one thing that we understand that we associate this with chariots, right? We go back to it's like a few years ago, 2 years ago, maybe, the way the time's going. But you know about the story Las Vegas. There's a guy named Angel that was he called the 911 dispatch and said there are aliens in my backyard, which sound crazy. And he's saying it like, yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but you know, you need to come out here. And the police body camera, they're on a whole nother call. It picked up a green, what looked like a meteor streaking through the sky. And that kind of had them like, all right, let's go check this out. You know what I'm saying? Because we seen that meteor in the sky, which was very rare. And he's talking about there's aliens in his backyard. Let's go check this out. So they went and checked it out. And they didn't show the body cam footage of the guy's backyard. They were like, well, that's private property and we don't normally do that. Well, I've been watching Cops since it came out, and they will be right up in your crib with a camera and show everything. And you can look at body camera footage online, and they never have a problem showing anybody's house, good, bad, or indifferent, right? So it's kind of strange how all of a sudden they got these rules and, you know, we can't show the guy's backyard and this, that, and the third. Sure thing. So now there has been a plethora of sightings of so-called quote-unquote meteors in the sky. We're going to check that out. It's been from Texas to Ohio, Pennsylvania, just pretty much all over Babylon. All right. And some of these have even done flips in the air, like, yo, thought I was a meteor. No, this is chariots. Okay. Can you read verse 5?
Before him went the pestilence, and burning coils went forth at his feet.
So before it went pestilence, you know what I'm saying? You could check out COVID, you know what I mean? This seems like a lot of things are coming together. One thing by itself, maybe you can, you know, I don't know if that's true or false, whatever. But when you start to put everything together, it starts to open up. You know what I mean? Sister sent me a video. You know what I mean? Shalom, sis. Always on, always commenting, sharing, liking, subscribing. And when I looked at the video that day, I noticed that it was, I don't want to say the same thing, but it's similar to something that I saw in the sky. And I even got my phone out to record it. So, you know, the way the Most High works, out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, he's not just really going to say things once. He'll give you ample opportunity to get it. You know what I mean? For the most part, you know what I'm saying? You know, he speaks to us with stammering lips. He'll repeat this thing over and over again. So I saw that as it's something I need to look into. So without further ado, let's check out the video, okay? Of what is going on in the sky.
So I had to stop everything that I was doing just to make this video right now because there's something pretty bizarre going on with mysterious fireballs that are being seen all across the sky, all over the world. And this started happening a couple of days ago, and we are now up to, I think, 5 or 6 of these fireballs. And some people are claiming that some of these things are possibly not meteors.
It's just crazy. I can't believe this is happening. The information I do have, they are diverting everyone right now. So there are no more inbound aircraft, at least from United Airlines, are diverting. They're going out of Denver because of this crazy situation.
I don't know what this is, but it's 2 of them.
What exactly are these things if they're not meteors? Are we talking about aliens, human technology? What exactly is going on? We're talking about multiple of these things that started being seen around February 28th, and it's still ongoing. And then there's this.
People told me that they felt this wave literally go through them. At least 3 people who told me they felt this, that these waves kind of went right through their body.
So it's too many of them all at once. It started around February 28th. People are feeling an energy wave when they see these things, and they sometimes hear loud booms. And get this, they're also seeing these things maneuvering as if they're being controlled by something. So I decided to go deeper into this because it's possible that these things are just meteors, and I think they are. But what if they aren't? What if there's something going on that suggests that these things are something else?
Alúmbrala otra vez.
Mira.
Wow, miren. Oh my goodness.
Around the same time frame that this all started happening, I found out that several people were reporting bizarre sightings in the sky and also waking up with strange marks in their bodies. Some airports were also being shut down.
So let's keep in mind, right? A lot of the people that you heard was, either 10 tribes, or you could tell us Eve watching these alleged meteors fall from the sky, right? And then you look at the pictures of people getting scratched while in their bed, looking like Esau. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you what to think. You can come to your own conclusion, but keep an open mind. Let's continue.
For mysterious reasons.
On aircraft, at least from United Airlines, are diverting everyone out of Denver because of this crazy situation.
Also, sirens are going off in certain cities.
Non-stop, all day.
And what appears to be some sort of glitch in the energy grid started happening a couple of days ago in Mexico and in Ohio, where one of these fireballs was seen a few days later.
Yeah, so this is Cleveland, Ohio. 14.
The mystery drones also seem to be back. So is this all just a coincidence, or is there something going on? Let's try to find out with the basic, and that would be the multiple mysterious objects that people are seeing falling from the sky. I guess it all starts with this video posted on February 28th in Maryland. This is where I believe all these sightings started happening.
Now, I know it's R. Kelly, and everybody, we understand what R. Kelly is and what he did. But think about just the song selection. Seems like you're ready. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
Wow, I see many of them. Here I'm seeing like what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8 of these objects. And again, they look like meteors, but I'm guessing that this is not normal, that these can't be meteors. So what exactly is going on? So March 17th, this account posts this. Woman captured a mysterious meteor-like object streaking across the sky in Dallas. Let's take a look at this. Oh, wow.
What is it? Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
It's kind of crazy how in the beginning of this video, we can see this thing, whatever it is, making a curve upwards and then going down. My first impression is that this could be some sort of skydiver or some sort of show. But at the same time, we have a lot of these things happening all over the world the same week. And then you got this. This account, March 18th, posted another perspective of the same fireball in Dallas. Wait a second, is that a plane or another one of them? Around the same week in Houston, another person captured what looks like two of these things falling at the same time, which in my opinion is pretty strange.
I don't know what this is, but it's two of them. What the heck?
I've never seen two of them at the same time. Look at that.
I don't know what this is, but it's two of them.
Also posted on March 18th by this account, we see something similar in Australian sky. Yeah, to me, this one looks more like a meteor than the previous one, but still strange how this is all happening around the same week. March 17th, this account posts this: Garden Grove, California, what the hell is going on?
Okay, so let's look at some things, okay? Why would this be happening? Now, the one account, right? We're gonna watch this video in a little bit. He talks about, a hypothesis, and I thought about this myself, right? We are in the debris field of 3i Atlas. You know what I'm saying? 3i Atlas now has passed through to like Jupiter, past Jupiter. It's passing Jupiter as we speak, right? It takes some time. Jupiter's huge. And when you look at where it's at and where we are as the rotation around the sun, we're in this debris field. So 3i Atlas, of course, was what they say, a 33-ton nickel, not nickel plated, made of nickel. You know what I mean? They say it was a comet, but it had 3 jet streams just coming out of it at all times. And look at it like that with 3i Atlas. If you had a car and you filled it up with gas and you drove across the country, eventually you'll run out of gas. You know what I'm saying? You have to fill up and re-up again. 3i Atlas, it didn't refill. You know what I mean? It was just constantly letting out huge amounts of what they say, cyanide, and I'm not sure what other gases, but pretty much what they say is like the building blocks of life. You know what I'm saying? We're in that debris field right now, and you see all these, quote unquote meteors falling from the sky. People are waking up with scratches on them. It's very interesting. Now, how do we get here? Why would they show up? You know what I'm saying? If these are what they would say extraterrestrials, you know what I mean? Angels, why would they show up here to America? Well, let's figure that one out. On your part, can you put on the a little part of that video about those Esau terrorizing our people, something that we're very much aware of, but as far as Esau is like, what did we do? I didn't do anything. I wasn't around during slavery. Well, let's just watch a little bit of this. Can you play it? Esau coming in, cursing, talking about what he gonna do.
No, you want to talk to her for her calling me a fucking cracker? And what was you doing? I called her a fucking nigger after she called me a cracker. You have a nice day. Call the cops. Call the cops. And you think I won't? Y'all, all you
Yeah, look at that.
niggers think this is fucking acceptable?
That's good.
Huh? You fucking
So he says he's gonna. He says that he's going to, you know, string them up or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this is some small, you know, over a messed up order or whatever like that. So Esau just snapping like he's a bloody man. You know what I'm saying? He's always been like this, hasn't changed. As you can see, what's going on in the so-called Middle East, he just decides to run up in Tehran and start bombing civilians. You know what I'm saying? Amalekites, you know what I'm saying? Bombing Gaza, you know? Esau, same people, so-called white man, going to Venezuela, you know what I'm saying? And kidnapping the president there, you know, and stealing their oil in front of the entire world. Like, nobody can ever say, like, Esau pulled us up by his bootstraps. He went over there and said, yeah, they're selling drugs. So blew up the country, stole the president and his wife, and then said, yeah, so we're gonna get ExxonMobil and the BP and all in the room together, and we're gonna see what we're gonna do with this oil. Like, wait, what? That's like called grand larceny or something. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money you're stealing. So hasn't changed. You know, and with that, it seems like the Most High is just fed up. You know what I mean? So they went over there to presumably do that to Iran. He said, oh, it'll be 2-3 days max. Went over there, and Iran hasn't stopped throwing missiles since. And the previous video we saw, those quote unquote meteors start falling February 28th, which look on the calendar, that's when they started bombing Iran. And it was Purim. So as we see, it's all falling into place. Got to see the signs. We're going to keep on talking about it. Let's continue on. Let's go to, let's stay in Habakkuk too. Habakkuk chapter 3 and verse 6.
It's Habakkuk 3, verse 6. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations. And the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting.
His ways are everlasting. You know what I mean? Causing earthquakes. So we got pestilence, burning coals falling from the sky, and earthquakes. And we're there. So we're going to get more into that. We're going to get into the earthquakes in the Drake's Passage down there by South America. There's been several large earthquakes that has taken place across the globe, okay, in a short amount of time that you actually got to see it. All right, let's go to Joshua chapter 10 and verse 8. And we'll talk about how our ancestors were in the midst of conquering nations and how the Most High helped them out, you know. So with these quote unquote, I'm keep quotes, meteors, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say it, but I don't believe they're meteors. I believe some of them are, but at the same time, I believe there are there's going to be some things walking on this planet more so than before, and we just got to get ourselves in order. You know what I mean? Being watched ever so closely, and some people are going to be protected. Some people are going to be vexed. We want to be protected, most definitely. All right, go ahead, King. You can bring it out.
Let's look at Joshua chapter 10 and verse 8. And the Lord said unto Joshua, fear them not, for I have delivered them into thine hand. There shall not a man of them stand before thee.
You know what I mean? And we need to really understand, if we're doing everything in our power to please the Heavenly Father by following his law, statutes, commandments, we should have that type of confidence where they can't do nothing with us, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully with these classes, reading your scriptures, you know what I mean, prayer, fasting, following the Sabbath, all that, you know what I mean, following the laws of God, your confidence should be increased in these last days. Do you know what I'm saying? Be encouraged, Israel. You know what I mean? Be encouraged. They're having a world war fiasco in the so-called Middle East, and it's all about you. When it all comes down to it, it's all about y'all. You know what I mean? That's the Holy Land. They're fighting over the Holy Land, and Israel wants to expand, and this, that, and the third. They stepped on Gilmore's property, bothering the Iranians who don't attack people, and now they just getting trashed by the Iranians. They don't have any interceptors. Donald Trump is like, yo, yeah, we're talking to people, and we're negotiating right now, and the people are like, we're not talking to anybody. We're not done. You know what I'm saying? We're just getting started, baby. We've been waiting for this for years. You know what I'm saying? I was waiting for you to do something stupid, and now I'm gonna punish you. And Trump can't do nothing about it. He's like, he wants to throw nukes over there, right? But then they got China and Russia backing him, like, you don't want to do that, homie. Israel actually struck a nuclear power plant over there that partly owned by Russia. And they said Kuwait is saying, yo, yeah, I got to evacuate Kuwait because we're getting, nuclear readings over there. So it's gotten nuclear. You know what I'm saying? It's all about y'all. You know what I mean? Can't nobody touch you. You know what I mean? As long as you follow these laws, statutes, commandments, what can they do? What can man do to you? Exactly. Read on, King.
Joshua therefore came unto them suddenly, and went up from Gilgal all night.
Go ahead.
And the Lord discomfited them before Israel, and slew them with a great slaughter at Gibeon, and chased them along the way that goeth up to Betharah, and smote them to Azekah and unto Mekkedah.
So, Israel's going to war, tearing them up, right? Read on.
And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel, and were in the going down to Betharah, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Ezekiel. And they died. There were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword.
So at first it says great stones, and then it says hailstones. Now, and in the scriptures, it has times where it just reads as hail, so of course biblical and different biblical interpretations are saying that these are meteors that are falling from the sky, great stones from heaven that are falling and destroying people. You know what I mean? And one way or another, things are falling from the sky, and it's discomforting the enemies of Israel. Okay. And not for nothing, there was one that fell into a person's house over there in Houston. This is happening on a daily basis. You can imagine if we are in a debris field, which on a normal basis, if we were in a debris field, they would know this is the such and such debris field, and this comes around every 300 years or something like that. They don't have any answers for this. You know what I mean? And the fact that people are seeing them rather than just not falling into the water or into some field where nobody's at, they're hitting people's houses. You know what I mean? Could be knocking planes out the sky. Could be the thing that knocked off that blew up Port Arthur over there in Texas. You know what I mean? It could have been terrorism too, or it could have been an accident. I don't know. But what I do know is people are filming these on a daily basis. Okay. And the next video, he's more of, these are all meteors. but it's going to see in line with how many are falling and where we're at as the as it lines up with 3i Atlas. All right, so let's check out this next video because it is getting deep.
Hey everyone, geophysicist Stefan Burns here. We have just had another fireball explode over the United States, creating a sonic boom felt by thousands. This was on March 21st, 2026 over Texas. And this is now the latest in a long string of fireball sightings since March began, and it's starting to become very, very anomalous. This is not normal. This is not just, okay, well, we get this actually more than you think, and it's just the news running with the story right now. No, this is very, very bizarre. The fact that this is not associated with a normal meteor stream, like the Perseid meteor stream, for example, right? This isn't clustering around a period of time that we've identified that we get more meteors and fireballs. A fireball, for reference, is a meteor that shines bright enough to be seen during the day. Basically, that makes it brighter than the third brightest object in our sky, which is Venus. That is the definition of a fireball. And if they are large enough, they can actually crash down and you can recover fragments. And we have fragments now from 3 of these fireballs, the one in Germany, Ohio, and now Texas. And they can also create these sonic booms. That shock wave can shake houses, and of course, people can hear it, they can feel it. So this is quite significant. This is the latest one over Texas. We got this from a live stream of a baseball match, and we see it coming down there. It also got picked up on satellite imagery because as this meteor is coming in, it is creating plasma in the atmosphere. So it actually shows up as a lightning strike from some of our observations from space. So this would be our GOES East satellite looking at Texas. So this is quite significant. Again, the latest in a long stream of fireballs that we've been encountering, not associated with any debris stream. I'll talk about where I think that these may be from, though. I've talked about before. You probably already know the answer if you've been watching. But here we have Louisiana. This is the 2nd of March. So this is really the first sighting that was out of the ordinary going back. Now, we had a couple fireball sightings in February from the United States. We'll look at the list, but this is the first one. It's like, okay, maybe something's a little weird here. Then Washington, on the 3rd of March, we see this one come in, okay? So yeah, the 2nd of March, the 3rd of March. Now let's go to Germany on the 8th of March. We'll see this fireball here streaking across the sky, a long-lived event. Fragments and pieces of this were recovered because it crashed into a house in northern Germany. So that's fantastic that we actually have some of these meteorite fragments. And really what we need to do is analyze all the 3 different samples that we've collected petrologically and also geochemically to see if they're the same or different, right? What are the differences, if there are any? Here we see Pennsylvania on the 9th of March. So just a day after Germany, we had a fireball sighting over Pennsylvania. Now we go to New York on the 11th, a big fireball right around midnight there. So that's New York on the 11th. And then we have our fireball over Ohio on the 17th. This created a big sonic boom, exploded with the force of 250 tons of TNT. It's estimated to be about 6 feet across and weigh about 7 tons. So this is the biggest event of the bunch based off of what I know. And then, of course, going back to our latest, we have here Texas. Size 1 foot across, weight about 1 ton, explosive energy about 26 tons of TNT. And fragments have been recovered from these. Let me show you, well, at least some of them. Let me show you these fragments. We have them right here. So these are 3 photos. Here we see the first one, which is Germany, okay? So you'll notice the fusion crust on the outside. So the black is where it was being exposed to the atmosphere and it was melting. The white is the actual meteorite material, okay? So keep that in mind. And then we can look at our follow-up with Ohio, the 17th. We think that this is associated with it. We don't exactly know, right? There's some ambiguity. The German one is pretty sure because it crashed into a house. So then you kind of know when you find a piece of rock sticking in your wall, it's probably it, right? It's like a catcher's mitt. This exploded over a large area in Ohio. We think that this is associated with that fireball. And you notice that it looks fairly similar to what we have with Germany. Of course, there is similarity with meteorites and asteroids and stuff in space, but this is kind of key that they're not looking dramatically different because there is a lot of variation at the same time with asteroids. Now we see our fragment recover from a home in Texas. And so we see the fusion crust on the outside. Notice the inside with that mottled white gray color. So they're all looking very, very similar. That's kind of the key thing I want to show you here. They're all looking very similar. We need to do a proper analysis of these fragments to see if they are separate or perhaps they are the same. Because if they are the same, then we are in a debris stream that is basically unknown. Though I think I know what it may be. At least it's a hypothesis that's worthy of exploration. Here we see our NASA Skyfall database. And we just scroll down. And what we're primarily interested in here is just the occurrences. Now, this is not for the entire world. Something to keep in mind is that these fireballs that we've seen have been over populated areas. If these are the ones that we've been seeing, how many have been flying in over completely uninhabited parts of the world, of the oceans, Antarctica, and more, right? There very likely is, if this is connected to a debris stream, way more of these fireballs flying in than we currently are aware of. But here we can see the list going back. So we have the 21st, the 17th, the 11th, 9th, 4th, 3rd of March, just like described. Louisiana, you can read the list, okay? We have a couple here in February. We see the 3rd of February, the 11th of February right here. And then we have a bit of a clustering there in December. You see 4 different events there for December. Well, we encounter the Gemini meteor stream in December, right in this time frame, about the 5th to the 20th of December. So this is most likely associated with that. I mean, I have to go through every single one here and look at them.
All right,
maybe one of them is just an oddball of it's part of the sporadic background. Right? Yeah, the word sporadic implies that there is some level of variability there, but this isn't sporadic at this point because we're getting way more than we would think. Another key clue here, in my mind, as it relates to what this is from, is the fact that this is now stretching over 20 days. And if we continue to see these fireball sightings through the rest of March and into April, then I think this hypothesis that I'm going to propose is more likely to be true. At least there's more weight in its court because you see here our solar system, the inner solar system there. Here we have Jupiter. You see interstellar object 3I Atlas. It flew through our inner solar system back in October and November. And one key thing to keep in mind with it is that it was very closely aligned to the ecliptic plane where all the planets travel through, only 5 degrees off. So when it was making its perihelion with the sun back on October 29th, it was right along the ecliptic plane. You can see this trajectory there in purple. Now it's slightly below. When it was further out, it was slightly above, but in that inner planet transit, it was right on the ecliptic plane, as you can see. Well, look at where we are right now, okay? So Earth is passing through this debris stream, and this is actually set a little ahead. Let's go back to today, the 22nd of March, and we see that we are right now at the closest to the orbit that 3I Atlas, or the trajectory that this interstellar object passed through. So it did not cut directly through Earth's orbit, thankfully, because 3I Atlas was very, very active. It's the largest interstellar object that we've ever seen. Only the third one is very, very active with a lot of jets, a whole bunch of activity. If it had passed directly through Earth's orbit when we weren't there, and then we swung in, we'd probably be getting a lot of these sort of fireballs and more, potentially bigger chunks like Tunguska, levels of city. Like, that's all possible. We have to keep that in mind too, because if we're seeing these small chunks, there could be a big one out there floating around.
That is true. So we're going to keep an eye out on this. And, you know, reading Habakkuk, let's go back to Habakkuk real quick. Habakkuk 3, and you start at verse 5. Let's go back to Habakkuk. and see how the Most High operates. All right. And we got it. You can bring it out, King.
Con's book of Habakkuk, chapter 3, verse 5. And Joshua said unto the people, sanctify yourselves.
No, Habakkuk.
Salaki?
Yeah, Habakkuk 3 and 5. Talk about how the Lord is getting down in these last days.
Salaki. This is Habakkuk 3 and 5. Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet.
And not for nothing, we have to understand, if you did any bit of research on 3i Atlas, you understand that's not a comet. It was just like, it had, like it says in verse 4, it had its brightness, the light had horns coming to the side. It was a chariot. It was a huge chariot, and we could see the after effects of it. And this is only the beginning of what we're really paying attention to, that we could see. It was an article, I didn't get a chance to read it, but in the New York Post, it said it was something attached itself to the ISS, the International Space Station. It looked like an egg, and like it was cracked open and something was coming out of it. I'm gonna have to look deeper into that. You know what I mean? It's things that, you know, normally you dismiss and be like, man, that don't make no sense. But we're not in the time period when things make sense. We gotta look at the scriptures and see how they line up. Can you read verse 6?
6. He stood and measured the earth and beheld, and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains were scattered. The perpetual hills did bow. His ways are everlasting.
So when he stood still, for pestilence came before him, right? And burning coals went forth at his feet. And this is, you know, obviously what we're seeing. They say it's not brimstone. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm looking it up, and they say brimstone is sulfur and everything like that. Well, it's something that's fallen and hitting Babylon all the way up. And it said when he stood still, the earth quaked. Okay, let's go to Acts chapter 16 and verse 26. We stood still, the everlasting mountains and the hills separated. All right. There's some earthquakes going on right now. Okay. And when we read Acts, earthquakes, you know what I mean, is loosening loosening these cords, loosening these bounds, you know, of our people. Go ahead, you can read, you can bring it out.
Acts chapter 16 and verse 26. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, so that the foundation of the prison were shaken, and immediately all the doors were open, and everyone's bands were loosened.
So the earthquake happened, and everybody was getting free. You know what I mean? So now let's look at the earthquakes that's happening in the United States. No, sorry, not just the United States, worldwide. This is a worldwide event. Okay, because of course our people are scattered abroad, right?
All right, guys, real quick before we get started with the master class here, if you look up, this is a view of the earthquakes. It was taken just a little bit earlier today. Current time is exactly noon here in the New Valley of the Sun in Colorado, so that would be mountain time. This is from just a little bit ago, showing the earthquakes from the last couple of days. Highlighting what you want to look for the most there is the darker red, larger magnitude 6.6s and the 6.3 and 6.1 in the Southwest Pacific Ocean. Now, this is a considerable uptick over a short period of time. Certainly contains several of the largest earthquakes of the last several weeks, and they occurred in pretty rapid succession. The first one was there at the tip of South America, where South America becomes Antarctica with the 6.6 that was downgraded from 7.0. Then it was the North Atlantic Ocean was a 6.9 they downgraded, and we have been seeing a significant number, a significant uptick over there in the Southwest Pacific. And so, thank you very much, Barb. This is interesting because the 6.6 in the North Atlantic and the Southwest Pacific uptick are nearly antipodal points on Earth. And beyond that, I mean, it's not exact. It's a little bit off in terms of the wrap around the Earth. In terms of the north versus south of one versus the other, it's darn near perfect. But what's interesting is
if you were to say, okay, these are the opposite sides of the Earth, let's go 90 degrees equidistant away from them, you pretty much get this spot in where South America hits Antarctica. And we're looking at something that's very weird, almost like that area took the hit down there near Antarctica first, and then equidistant from them, coming up on exact opposite sides of the Earth, we had these quakes. Now, here's what's interesting. This is basically March 20, March 21, March 22. This is the exact time when there is actually a force in that direction. There's actually a force in that direction, and here's why. Earth does not orbit perfectly around the sun's equator, okay? We are at a slight tilt. It's about 7 degrees. We reach our minimum, our lowest point in March and our northernmost point in September, which means that at some point in March, we come down and then the planet is pushing back up like this. And you have to, so the orientation of this image, which comes from the Quake Feed app, it shows the Earth like this. It doesn't show Earth's tilt due to the season. And if you actually take a look at that, it's okay, Barb. You don't need to. Oh, she's so embarrassed that her phone went off. She's so embarrassed. Basically, the force would basically be a compressive force. It is coming down and then it starts to come up like this. And so the first force would be down there near Antarctica. And then it would be moving up North Atlantic and the Southwest Pacific Ocean. I would not be surprised to see, the Alaska area, Kamchatka area be the termination of this squeeze, this compression-based seismic uptick. And
Esau looks like he's high off of meth. I mean, you know what I mean? He looks in bad shape. But y'all, I think y'all got the point. Massive amount of earthquakes all around the world. The sun has been blowing up all crazy. Gashes in the sun, if you will, solar flares. And been a lot of shaking going on, okay? Most High is loosening the bands, all right? Now, let's talk about these drones, because the Trump administration said they're going to hide themselves. Like I said, they're going to hide themselves in the rocks. They're literally hiding themselves in military bases, you know what I mean? And assuming that military bases go deep down beneath the surface, they have their little bunkers there. So that's where Pam Bondi, I think Pete Hegseth, whatever his name is, Marco Rubio, they moved out of their houses, because they probably realized it's going to be a point in time where people get pitchforks and torches and try to go grab them, you know what I mean, knowing what they're doing to their businesses. People have voted for the Republicans, going to make America great again, and now gas is like $5, $6, $7 a gallon. It's a collapse going on. The job numbers are unbelievably low. We talked about that before. But now you have drones that are flying over their military bases. And if it was like China or Russia, they'd be like, all right, we got to go to war. But they don't know who it is. And they don't know what they're looking for or how to track them back. Same thing in New Jersey, happened in northern New Jersey. Shout out to Macabre, you know what I mean? East Orange was you know what I mean, was one of the first places in that area, northern New Jersey, first places people started seeing these mystery drones, right? And we all remember that. Wasn't that long ago. Well, they're back. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 8. It's a beautiful time to be alive, Israel. Because Esau's scared. Let's please believe Esau's scared. Okay. And if you enjoy Esau being afraid, like, comment, subscribe. pass this video along, because we spent plenty of years in fear of our lives. Now it seems like they have a higher power that is completely going against them. You know, I mean, they thought they were on God's team, you know, and God we trust. But apparently the Israel that they thought were the real Israelites don't have any protection in the war against Iran, and the real Israelites are having protection of the Most High God. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Go ahead, Ken, you can bring it out.
God, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 5 and verse 8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor, and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a providence, marvel not at the matter. For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they.
They thought they was the top dogs. You know what I'm saying? We run this. You know, I do whatever we want. We'll go to war with anybody. We'll take their oil. You know what I mean? Go to Afghanistan, take their drugs. Go to Iraq, take their oil. And we're going to take the oil out of Iran. Iran closed that Strait of Hormuz. Gas shot sky high. And Trump's like, yo, we won. We should leave. We won. Iran's like, we ain't done with you. We're not opening the Strait of Hormuz, and we'll keep on bombing Tel Aviv back to the Stone Age. In fact, in Tel Aviv, they got a murder of crows flying around that place. It's called a murder. When a bunch of crows get together, they call it a murder. They say it's a bad omen. You know what I mean? Ephraim was bringing out on Facebook that they're getting ready to eat. They're getting ready to feast. You know what I'm saying? Because it's about to be a mass slaughter over there. So all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Mashiach Yahushai. They think they at the top of the food chain, but apparently they're not. Okay, so let's check out the video regarding the drone situation.
All right, guys, we got a bit of a situation here involving more mystery drones, and this time, waves of them. And apparently, they cannot stop them. Officials at Barstow Air Force Base in Louisiana confirming to the Daily Mail that the base detected multiple unauthorized drones entering the restricted airspace between March 9th and March 15th. The first incident involved what they said was a single unmanned aerial system that triggered a shelter in place for the entire region and a terror alert that went out. However, an internal military briefing document has reportedly revealed that later incidents involved swarms of 12 to 15 drones every time entering the base's no-fly zone. The drones were described as being long-range devices using special signals that are not used by regular consumer drones. This reminds me of the New Jersey drones that were flying around. They had FAA lights on those, though, and our military was tight-lipped, but you could not jam them. They were outrunning our military aircraft that were chasing them. But then Trump come out and said they were ours. Why did they have our military chasing drones in our own country if they were ours? They said they were, and there was nothing to worry about. And we have reports from multiple troops on different bases since the New Jersey thing, saying that they've witnessed drones or objects coming up near their bases over and over again. So now they're admitting they can't stop these things, and it's going over our fleet of B-52 bombers that deliver nuclear strikes. Waves of them. Talk about not good. How can this be? And then they were just down there with lasers in Texas, New Mexico, trying to down drones. It seems it's here. They are here. They can't stop them, so to speak, or at least that's what they're projecting to us. And it's not good that they cannot stop an aircraft that's flying over our military bases whatsoever.
It is good, Dabu. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. So think about that. they gave authorization to shoot down these drones, right? This is the Trump administration, like, you gotta get rid of them, you know. But when he came in office, he was like, "Oh yeah, they're ours." Sure, they are, sir. And the FAA, you know, they interviewed them again in front of the House, Senate, whatever, and they were like, Trump said they're ours. He's like, they're not. Okay, you know what I'm saying. So with that in mind, these drones, say they were Chinese or Russian or whatever, they could have flew into those B-52 bombers and disabled them, which would be a huge uh goal in war, you know what I mean, which we're currently in. But they didn't. So it's something to think about. Who are they? And how come they don't respond to you know, the regular, you know, patterns of drones and, you know, the communication, this, that, and the third. And where are they going? You know what I'm saying? They have to show up from somewhere and they have to go somewhere. And the United States can't track them. I see that as anomalous. And I'm gonna put it in the hands of the Most High God. You know what I'm saying? And one class called God or the government, I'm gonna say is God. Okay. Either way, it's vexing Esau. Let's go to Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 10. Because the angels be watching. The angels be going to and fro, up and down the earth. Okay. So with that in mind, let's figure some things out. All right. You got it, you can bring it out.
Come on, this is the book of Zechariah, chapter 1 and verse 10. And the man stood among the myrtle trees, answered and said, "These are they whom the Lord has sent to walk to and fro through the earth."
Go ahead.
And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees and said, "We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest."
So peep that. You know what I mean? The angels are sent to watch things, you know, see what's going on, what they doing down there. Okay. So can the Lord have drones? Of course he can. And if you've seen these drones, quote unquote drones, once again, just like I say, quote unquote meteors, if you've seen them, which I have up in North Jersey, it is very unique. These things are huge. You know what I'm saying? It's not the little drones that you get and all this. They're huge. They're like a half an airplane floating in the sky. And it'd be like just not just one of them, it'd be like three of them just floating around, you know, looking at things. And if they don't know what these are, then you know what they are. Okay. Because ain't nobody been able to do this to the United States. United States is definitely catching losses in these last days, but with surveillance and counter surveillance, they should say, all right, these are Russian, these are Ukrainian, or you know what I mean? These are Iranian. They haven't been able to pinpoint who they are. One senator came out and said, yeah, they're Iranian, and they at the end of the night they go into an Iranian mothership. And everybody had to look at him like, what does an Iranian mothership look like? You know what I'm saying? Is it sitting on it's sitting in the Atlantic City Ocean? Like, what does that look like? It's sitting over there by California. But, you know, he had to like kind of fall back from that because it just didn't make any sense, you know. But trust and believe, they're sitting over some of the most sensitive areas on the face of the planet, and they can't do nothing with them. All right. So what is Esau gonna do? Kill, steal, rob, do what he always does. What else is Esau gonna do? Well, he's gonna be a decent human being? Of course not. You can see how he's moving in the direction of, you know, 1940s Germany, because now you have ICE agents posted up at your airport. The TSA workers can no longer give you those aggressive pat downs because, well, they're quitting. You know what I mean? They're not getting paid. So Donald Trump has the bright idea of, let's bring ICE agents over there. So you see America is definitely collapsing into a third world S-hole country, You know what I mean? Where gas is sky high. In order to get on an airplane, you got to wait in line for 6 hours. Planes are running into, fire trucks over there in New York, LaGuardia Airport. Military planes falling out the sky in Colombia. But let's stick with America. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10. Isaiah chapter 10, because we have a president, a leader, who is a draft dodger, Captain Bone Spurts, and he's putting out his Hitler-like decrees all over the United States and the world. Let's talk to him, because Most High says destruction of the people like that. So let's get that Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1.
God's book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. Woe to them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievous which they have prescribed.
Con, you know what I mean? Destruction unto him that writes these unrighteous decrees. Let's send ICE agents over there to do what? Like, what are they gonna do? They can't do anything. You get pictures of them. They just walking around, sitting on their phone, sitting in the food courts. You know what I'm saying? The lines are still long, but it's not about helping people. Make sure I have crowd control. What crowd control? You know what I mean? Crowd control is a line outside the door. You know what I mean? This is a collapse of society. This is what it looks like. Rome is falling. Babylon is falling. This is what it looks like. You know what I mean? They can't pay their workers. You're asking $200 billion for war, but you can't pay the TSA workers to keep these daggone lines flowing. It's a collapse. All right. Let's read verse 2.
To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
Con, and brother was saying, just don't be surprised. You walk around your friends just like, hey, you, come here. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust Esau not to do that. You think Esau is like a decent human being. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta be doing nothing wrong, but this is how they operate. But the Most High got something for them. You know what I mean? They keep on with their unrighteous decrees. You know what I mean? And their evil and their wickedness, and watch the Most High respond. Continue to respond. Salakia. He's continuing to respond. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 28, verse 15. Daggone plane ran into a fire truck over there in New York. The whole plane front, the head of the plane, what they call it, the nose of the plane, gone, obliterated. People was getting off of the plane flipped up. While people were getting off, they falling all over the place. It was like 70 people injured. Pilot, co-pilot gone to the upper room. You know what I'm saying? So, and they're from Canada. We supposed to be United States and Canada is supposed to be like this. Now all the tariffs and stuff, you gotta ask if Donald Trump did that on purpose. I'm saying Canada might start a war with the United States over that. Probably not, but we do understand the scriptures that everybody's gonna be against Babylon. Might as well start there. Go ahead, King. Bring it out.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, verse 15. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is a wicked ruler over the poor.
Con, you know what I'm saying? It's a roaring lion, a raging bear. You know what I mean? Donald Trump is a wicked ruler. He's bringing Byron Trump's not going to war. Trump Don Jr. is not going to war. Eric Trump's not going to war, but he'll send America's sons and daughters to die in Iran. You know what I'm saying? And every military analyst is saying they got a chance. As soon as they go over, they're gonna start shooting them out the sky. Already shot a ballistic missile to one of the aircraft carriers. So maybe Byron Trump needs to get ready for war, do some push-ups. Nah, he's gonna have to do some push-ups anyway and get ready to get in that cotton field. Okay. because slavery is most likely coming back sooner than most people think. Okay. All right, let's continue on. Let's check out what's going on with the ICE agents. All right, here we go.
Here at the front of a storm, the Democrats have caused lots of problems at the airports and all other places too. We shouldn't be in this position, especially when we're in conflict elsewhere. But how are you doing, and how is ICE doing at the airports and helping out?
Oh, sir, just have the opportunity to help our other fellow officers at Department of Homeland Security. We're doing great. We're going to make sure that your promise is kept, that we're going to help those lines move, and we're going to make people safe. And no one should be nervous to go to the airport.
This is illegal. We need to see your badge number. Show your badge number.
Is anyone surprised at the idea to send ICE agents to assist with long lines at TSA came from the president himself? I mean, I can't imagine how this will go.
Will we see arrests or illegal migrant arrests at airports, sir?
Arrests?
Will we see ICE arresting illegal migrants at airports?
Yeah, that's why the Democrats are going crazy, because they've allowed, by what they did, and hold up, we put ICE, who are a very high level, I mean, they really are a high level group of people.
Whose idea was that? When ICE at the airport?
We're dealing really, mine. That was mine. That was like the paperclip. You know the story of the paperclip? 182 years ago, a man discovered the paperclip. It was so simple. And everybody that looked at it say, why didn't I think of that? ICE was my idea.
Airports across the country are now dealing with massive staffing shortages at the TSA, leading to hours-long security lines and widespread disruption. But those shortages didn't just appear overnight, right? They are tied directly to a funding standoff in Washington. Senate Republicans have repeatedly blocked Democratic proposals to fund TSA and other Department of Homeland Security functions, with multiple bills failing to pass despite focusing solely on keeping airport security operations running.
Senator Cruz and I came up with a plan. We said, look, it's a two-step process. The Democrats have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then at the same time, we would offer a bill for reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open. We submitted that. Senator Cthulhu submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no.
Democrats' position has not changed. We want to pay TSA workers today. We're ready to meet with the White House today to keep talking. In fact, we were going to meet this morning with Tom Homan, but apparently the White House pulled that meeting because of Donald Trump's temper tantrum.
At the same time, President Trump has refused to support funding deals unless they include broader political demands, specifically the funding of ICE. You know, the rogue agency that had to be completely reshuffled after their disaster in Minneapolis, previously helmed by someone who used taxpayer dollars to fund an advert that cost more than most Hollywood blockbusters. I mean, I can't imagine why Democrats are a bit hesitant.
And so what's happening today in America that should outrage everybody? He's taking this very same agency that has been bursting into our schools, into our churches, into our hospitals, into our courts, and even into the homes of Americans. He's taking that agency that is reckless and out of control and bringing them to our airports, under the lie that somehow this is going to help deal with the long lines that he created in the first place. This is an outrage. We should not have an agency that America doesn't trust, an agency that literally has seen violence against Americans, an agency that is tearing away American families, tearing apart American families, and arresting and detaining Americans and violating due process rights and civil rights.
Well, the result, TSA workers are going unpaid. Officers are quitting or calling out, and airports struggling to function. Now, instead of resolving the funding issue, This administration chose a different approach, deploy ICE agents. Makes sense, right?
Thousands have called out sick. Many are unable to pay for their cars, gas, childcare, or rent due to the shutdown. It's making it so they can't even afford to come to work right now, which of course they haven't been getting paid for more than a month. That's why President Trump decided to send hundreds of ICE officers into the airports that are greatly impacted, like here in Atlanta. Mayor Andre Dickens says those officers are meant to help with crowd control and line management. They are not supposed to conduct any immigration enforcement. We have seen a handful of them already here this morning. And travelers we spoke to say they feel for the TSA agents, but they also feel like this is even worse than they were expecting.
Seemed like I didn't sleep last night to get here to the airport. It's unfortunate, but hey, I got to do what I got to do. If I had the means, I'd pay everyone right now, but I can't. But I would. It's crazy. I don't blame them. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because they're hardworking individuals.
It's been crazy.
For about an hour and a half.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of uncomfortable, the situation, but what can we do in this day and age? I expect anything.
A lot of folks depend on looking at the TSA wait time information on the website. That's not up right now. All it says is get here at least 4 hours before your flight. And truthfully, you might even want to add another hour or two onto that just to be safe.
Across major airports, immigration officers have now been brought in to assist with crowd control, security flow, and operational gaps left by the TSA shortages, or that's their plan at least. But there's a fundamental problem with that approach, right? We've all seen what happens when ICE agents are placed into civilian-heavy, high-stress environments, which, have you ever been to an airport? It's the mecca of stress. And with all that, it creates a new set of risks. And politically, this creates a serious problem for the administration. They already backtracked on the amount of ICE agents they deployed to Minneapolis and parted ways with those who were overseeing that train wreck. According to reports, Trump has ordered ICE agents deployed to airports not to wear masks and to try and blend in with travelers.
The great American public is going through at the airports. They're going through a big struggle right now, and we just put ICE in charge, and they're helping TSA, the agents, and they're working together so far very well. I actually suggested that in the airports they take off their masks, and they did that. In the airports, I'm a big believer in the mask because we have, Biden allowed hundreds of thousands of killers into our country. We're rapidly getting them out, by the way. But they would go after these people if they knew exactly who they were. But in the airports, it's different. I didn't love the look in the airport as you get off the plane. So I made a request and they agreed to it. So they're not going to be doing that. We would also bring.
Mr. President, you've deployed ICE agents to American airports. Newsmax, sir. You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a very good job.
You've deployed ICE agents.
You're not doing a good job. Did you hear me? Okay, go ahead.
What exactly do you want from
these calls? Taking CNN over Newsmax.
Signaling that he, in fact, is very well aware of the mess that he created, while sending those who were involved in said mess to help clean up another mess that he created. You see how this administration works?
One question I want the mainstream media's head to blow up today. We can use what's happening with these ICE helping out at the airports. We can use this as a test run, as a test case to really perfect ICE's involvement in the 2026 midterm election, sir?
Yeah, I think we should have ICE agents at the polling places, because if you're an illegal alien, you can't vote, right? It's against the law. It's a federal crime for you to vote in federal elections. And so if you're an American citizen, you should be happy that ICE is there, because you're not going to have illegal aliens canceling out your vote.
And if more incidents like the one at SFO surface, the story won't just be about immigration enforcement or TSA. It will be about whether or not this administration is making the situation worse, a situation they helped create.
President.
Of course they did. Okay, so that's good on that. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 17. Welcome to Mad Max times. Welcome to ish-hole country called America. America. Go ahead, King. You can bring it out.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able.
This is where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Prophecy is taking place off the map. You know what I mean? This is what it is. You got ICE agents in the airports, and soon, I do believe he said he's deploying the National Guard to the airports as well. Okay. So with that in mind, I don't think none of this is accidents. You know, he said he came up with it. It's another video of a woman named Linda that was on like a right-wing talk show call in, and she said we should have ICE agents in the airport. And then the guy that was hosting the show was ended up being on Fox News, and he said we should have ICE agents in the airport. And all of a sudden, Trump comes out and says it's my idea. You know what I mean? But I think it goes further back than that. If you understand how America works with the Bilderberg group and these, excuse me, Epstein Island political figures and so forth and so on, they plan decades ahead. And you watch a video or a movie where it says the Iranian terrorists and these Russian terrorists, they let you know who do we want you to be afraid of, because we're eventually going to go to war with them. And when we do, we want you to back us up and say, you know what, I know something about those Iranians. They're pretty bad. You know what I mean? Because you watched Red 2, or you don't like the Russians because you saw Rocky 4. You know what I'm saying? It's that real that they, or Die Hard. You know what I'm saying? But welcome to the downfall of America. Okay, enjoy this season finale. Make sure you have the Most High God on your side in these last days. Let's talk about 3-Eye Atlas now. Let's go to Isaiah 40 and 26. Let's talk about 3-Eye Atlas and how close it got to Jupiter. So it's just another anomaly to let you know that this thing was serious. You know what I mean? It came down from nowhere. It sped up, slowed down, like it was doing all types of crazy things. You know what I mean? It has jets coming out of it. And we're in this debris field right now. And here you go, all these meteors. Okay. So let's talk more about that before it's all said and done. Go ahead, King, you bring it out.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 40 and verse 26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by name, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power, not one faileth.
So we can go back and forth. Oh, I think it was a comet. Oh, I think it was a chariot. I think this and the third. Who made it? You know what I'm saying? It says, lift up your eyes on high. Behold, who have created these things. Who created these things? How about Shem Yahushua? It was totally anomalous, totally, had a comet tail in the front of it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? That's like physics. You got to throw the whole physics book out if you believe things like that. You know what I mean? But before we get into all that, matter of fact, let's go to Job chapter 38. 38 and verse 31. Because he had to tell Job, look, man, you know how to do these things? You know about this? I know I don't. Go ahead, King. You got it. You can bring it out.
This book of Job, chapter 38 and verse 31. Canst thou bid the sweet influences of Pleiades, or loose the bands of Orion?
Go ahead.
Canst thou bring forth Mazaroth in his season? Or canst thou guide Arcturus with his sons?
So he's like, these are heavenly bodies, star systems and everything like that. Like, can you bind the sweet Pleiades? You know what I mean? Can you loose the bands of Orion? Can you do these things? You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Knowest thou the ordinances of heaven? Canst thou set the dominion thereof in the earth?
So this is out of our pay grade, if you will. You know what I mean? next level. All right. So we'll find out. Really, it's really just paying attention. It's putting it out there and paying attention to see where the Most High. Salaki, let me pause this.
So I wanted to give you the
where the Most High is going with this, with his 3-eye atlas and things of that nature. Like how far deep into these this meteor shower are we in, or are these rocks going to start coming alive? I don't know. You know what I mean? But when it comes down to it, with all these things being shown in the skies of Babylon, and what we've seen happen in Las Vegas with the landing of a chariot in this guy named Angel's backyard, I have a feeling we're in for a interesting future, if you will. Okay, just be prepared and keep an open mind.
Update on Comet 3A Atlas and also on the Great Comet 2026. So on March 14th, Comet 3A Atlas in the morning around 7 a.m. Central Time passed the hill radius of Jupiter, and it is still passing as we speak. It takes a week or two to get out of the Jupiter hill radius gravity. And what really stuck out to me was how close it is going to the Jupiter hill radius. It is going as close as 57,000 kilometers out of millions of kilometers. So it is almost like scratching the hill radius when it is going. It has to be extremely calculated if it is done by an intelligence out there that is trying to go that level. Even for a human beings to send an aircraft which is in that gap of 57,000 kilometers, you are talking an extreme technology when you are passing interstellar. So that definitely is something that an anomaly that we cannot forget. I'm going to show you some numbers, and it baffles me like how this 3i Atlas, being what it is, passing the Jupiter hill radius that close. The other thing that stood to me very abnormal is the jets that Avi was pointing out, the 120 degrees angle. What surprises me is not just the jets that are out there, like 3 jets with 120 degrees angles that separated. That's not really interesting. There could be possible, and it may be some natural explanations of why those 3 jets are there. But what makes me really wonder was these jets were there and staying in the same way they were all the way when it came closer to the sun and all the way going to the Jupiter. If it is a natural occurrence, keeping those jets in that angle for that long with all that material that is coming out would be really impossible.
Okay, let's go to, you said that it's going to be impossible. From behind the sun up to Jupiter, and it's not moving. Like, it's impossible. It's not impossible for it to be a comet. A comet be tumbling and having a tail. This thing was just moving like Star Trek. You know what I mean? Or Star Wars or one of them drones. All right, let's go to Psalm chapter 19 and verse 1. Most High ain't no joke, you know. He showed himself. It's little room for any like back talk or any for anything else. So looking at these things, Trump and them, these Epstein file politicians and this Epstein class of people, they seen this like, man, this is it. You know, when Yahushua was on the earth and an evil spirit, he was talking to the wicked spirit. He was like, yo, our time's not up yet. You know what I mean? Look, come on, we still got time here. You know, don't do us like that. Now these wicked spirits like, man, it's over. This is it. You know, look at this. Look at what's in the heavens. Look at what's in the sky. You know, look what's going on. It's time for us to get out of here. So let me go in Venezuela. Let me have a blockade with Cuba and go take their oil and try to conquer them and just conquer everybody within months. You know what I mean? Venezuela, Cuba, Iran, like he's trying to go all over the place, you know, because the devil knows he has a short time. Okay. Go ahead. You can bring it out, King.
God, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 19 and 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork.
The heavens declare the glory of God. This is not a normal thing. You know, the 3i Atlas was not a normal thing, and we're in the debris field of that as we speak. All right, let's continue.
Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge.
No, that's it, King. We can leave it there.
Sorry.
Let's give it a couple more minutes on this. We're gonna move on to the next one.
Of the comets, we might actually find a lot more when the Vera Rubin Observatory goes online. We might be seeing more, and we might be seeing more anomalies than what we are seeing right now. So I'm all ears to see what it is doing. I'll show you the last few.
That's it on that. You know, just the numbers game. You know what I mean? The numbers of where it showed up and how close it was to Jupiter, how close it was to elliptical plane within 5 degrees of the planets. And it's some things that mathematically, you know, it would take a genius to figure out. But when you're dealing with the Most High God and all that up there in the sky, that's his. You know what I mean? So you know he had his hand in that. Okay. And still, like we were talking about with the meteors, we're gonna see how that transpires, if you will. So, AFROMAN for president. Okay, so if you haven't heard, AFROMAN, the obscure rapper, has, you know, shock value type of rapper. Come to find out, man, you know, he's like a joke rapper or whatever like that. He's an OG. This dude was in the 8 Trey Crips, Gangster Crips or whatever like that over in LA. Something that brothers in LA know, you know, but you ain't from LA, you probably think, you know, it's a regular guy, right? But apparently the cops trying to mess with him, and he just put the Uno reverse card on the table, and he's making money off it. He's making music, he's calling out names. I said it and I'll say it again. AFROMAN is the biggest gangster in rap at this point in time. All these drill rappers, and I'll kill you. You walking your daughter across the street, I cuffed you slipping. Like, it don't take a man to do that. It takes a solid brother to look at the cops in the eye and say, I'm gonna make money off you. I'm gonna put your name and all your business out there for the whole world to see, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it. And the cops went and sued him, and that even blew him up even more. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk about the trial that occurred. So this is the one. Let's get Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11. After this, we're going to have the health section, and we're done. But we got to talk about AFROMAN, man. You know what I'm saying? And this is like, it reminds me of like OJ, the OJ trial. If anybody was live when the OJ trial happened, how like huge that was. That first, a so-called black man might have just knifed 2 white people up, and then he got away with it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get lynched or nothing like that, and he got away with it. Of course, they got him on the back end with stealing his own stuff, but it was so far beyond the realm of comprehension because black people don't get away with stuff like that. You know what I mean? Joel 3rd chapter. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get you. Most High said I'm gonna get you. You know what I'm saying? But with that in mind, AFROMAN just put a Uno reverse card in the face of all law enforcement and made multiple songs, and it's probably gonna make millions of dollars off of this. So we're gonna talk about it. Go ahead, can you bring it out? Ephesians 5:11.
Come, this is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them.
Reprove them. You know what I mean? No, we ain't shaking hands. We ain't close. Okay, go ahead.
For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
So the stuff that these cops were doing is wicked and evil and diabolical. And he put it out there so everybody can see. You know what I'm saying? And we about to watch a part of that trial right now. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7, Bubba Shaw.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 1, and verse 7. For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
Ain't no scary stuff over here. You know what I'm talking about? So let's check AFROMAN, his trial out, and how he destroys these cops. Now, I say AFROMAN for president, Yahushua gonna rule the world. You know what I'm saying? But in Babylon, until Yahushua comes back, I want AFROMAN to run this country. You know what I'm saying? No folly, but I mean, AFROMAN really he showed the world this is how it's done. Okay. Afraid of these people. Who are they? They put on their pants one leg at a time as well.
Today was day 1 of the AFROMAN trial, and child, it's insane. Let me give you the recap. If you need the full backstory on this case, I already did a video breaking down the lawsuit, but the one-line recap is that rapper AFROMAN, the man who used to sing Because I Got High, is being sued by 7 police officers after they raided his house back in August of 2022, and he later used the footage from that raid to make songs, music videos, and merch about the officers. So let's get into day 1. The opening statements were pretty quick. The plaintiff's lawyer started off by explaining that one of the main claims in this trial is for defamation, and because the officers are public officials, the standard to sue somebody for defamation is higher than it would be for regular people. In their case, they have to prove what's called actual malice, and that just means they have to show that AFROMAN knew the statements he was making were false, and he still made them anyway.
If he knows they weren't true, that's actual malice. For public officials, he can't do that, and he did. These deputies asked the defendant years ago to stop these posts, to take them down. He didn't. He ramped them up. None of them had any idea that by doing their duties that day, their lives would be turned upside down.
And as a reminder, the officers are saying that AFROMAN made several defamatory statements against them, including calling them all thieves, calling one of them a PDF, and then making comments about the female officer's gender and orientation. And just so you're tracking, AFROMAN calls them all thieves because during the raid on his house, thousands of dollars were taken. But after no charges were filed against him, the money was returned. But according to AFROMAN, $400 of that money was missing. And so he says they stole it. Here are some clips of the plaintiff's attorney explaining the defamation claims.
Shortly after the cash was returned to Mr. Foreman, he began claiming on the internet and every place he could that the sheriff's deputies had stolen $400 of his money. There was an independent investigation done by Claremont County, but that didn't keep him from continuing to declare that Brian Newland in particular and the rest of these deputies are thieves. He called Brian Newland a pedophile, not called him. He posted it, published it all over the internet. Mr. Foreman posted that Lisa Phillips likes to have sex with other women. He used other words. She ate my ex-wife just like pizza. Over and over, thousands of times on the internet. Mr. Foreman also targeted Deputy Randy Walters for special treatment. Mr. Foreman declares, I used to fuck his wife. I used to fuck his wife doggy style. Justin Cooley was targeted by Mr. Foreman as a thief. Sean Cooley, Mike Eastep, and Sean Grooms all suffered by being called a thief.
And at the end of the opening, the attorney told the jury that they're seeking to get 7 figures in damages. Now let's move on to the opening statement from AFROMAN's attorney. In his opening, he focused on highlighting that this case is really about freedom of speech, artistic expression, and the rights of American citizens to criticize government officials.
Have you ever heard of a law enforcement officer suing a person for making a social commentary on them? Or have you ever heard of an officer suing anybody because someone said they didn't like what they had to say? Officers deal with it all the time. You don't sue people. You respect the freedom of this country and move on. The evidence will show that Mr. Foreman's statements fall into three categories. The first, many of these statements are his opinions. They are Joe's subjective views about his encounter with these public officials and the execution of their duties. Second, many of the statements are exaggerated, rhetorical exaggeration, as you might expect from a musician. The third is the extent that any of the statements assert facts. They relate to matters of public concern. Matters of public concern are exempted. These statements address how the search was conducted, what actions were taken, and how Mr. Foreman experienced this as a homeowner. You may not like the speech you hear, but it's protected.
Okay, so the first witness of the day was an officer by the name of Brian Newland, and he's the officer who actually obtained the search warrant for AFROMAN's house, and he's also the officer that counted the money that was seized from AFROMAN's house. Now, on direct examination, he walked the jurors through how the money from AFROMAN's house was collected, and then he explained why there was a $400 difference between what AFROMAN received back versus what was taken from his house.
I counted out the money, put it in an evidence bag, and then at the end of the search, I transported it back to the sheriff's office.
Has Mr. Foreman accused you of taking his money?
Yes. Once the allegation was made, the sheriff contacted the Claremont County Sheriff's Office to conduct an independent investigation. They were to determine that I miscounted the money during my original count.
Did they conclude that any money had been taken?
They said there was not any money taken.
Did that stop Mr. Foreman from continuing to claim you had stolen $400?
No.
Did you take any of the money?
No.
Did you ever take any money from the evidence bags?
No.
Did you ever take any of Mr. Foreman's money?
No.
Now, in addition to being called a thief,
Slacky, real quick, I just want you to look at his eyes, because as soon as he says no and his eyes blink, that lets you know he's lying. That's not always 100%, but that's a trick in psychology, that people subconsciously will blink or look away when they're telling a lie. So just real quick.
Stop Mr. Foreman from continuing to claim you had stolen $400?
No.
Did you take any of the money?
No.
Did you ever take any money from the evidence bags?
No.
Did you ever take any of Mr. Foreman's money?
No.
Now, in addition to being called a thief, Brian is also suing AFROMAN for calling him a PDF. AFROMAN has even nicknamed Brian Baby Making Brian Newland.
This is the uneducated can't count file police officer that stole my money. His name is Baby Making Brian Child. Newborn baby mama, newborn Newland, Detective Brian Newland. I have a song coming out about him. The chorus goes like this. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Brian Newland is a flag. He used to play with little toys. Now he plays with little boys. Watch your little boys around Brian Newland. He's very bold. He will fondle little boys in front of you in broad daylight. This is a public service announcement. Stay safe. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
AFROMAN also made a post about Brian's brother engaging in inappropriate behavior with some minors, and then he made some other claims about Brian.
So I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it says in part, if you pay me back the money you stole from me, I won't tell the world about your children family, you know, like your brother. That's named Will You Stop Sending Pick Williams, aka William Newland. And is that a picture of your brother?
Yes.
And was your brother convicted of a misdemeanor?
Yes.
What was that?
I don't recall what the charge was.
He used to do hard drugs. Did you ever do hard drugs, Detective Newland?
No.
Now he steals money from traffic stops under the camouflage of law enforcement. Did you ever steal money from a traffic stop?
No.
Did you ever steal money from anybody?
No.
Detective Newland, can you see what that sign says?
Yes.
What is it? Would you read it for us?
They stole my money.
How can you take me to court when you stole my money and it's $400 short? You vandalized my property, and you filed a lawsuit properly. I'm a rapper, so I'm rapping. What? I can't talk about what happened.
And that was just published in the last few days, as far as you know?
Yes.
What effect did it have on you when you saw these posts?
I was angry, sad, depressed, upset. I didn't find it funny at all. I work in law enforcement, have kids, have friends, family. I was involved in the schools. Yesterday, there was a cheer competition in North Adams. I walked my 3-year-old son in to watch his sister cheer, and somebody asked me if that was another little boy I'm touching.
Yesterday?
Yesterday. Another one I can recall was Meet the Team night for my daughters. We was in line to get slushies, and people were making comments behind me. Just called me a thief, and why was I there? And then started playing music, playing some of his songs on their phones. I ended up leaving the sheriff's office just because of this.
Now, on cross-examination, AFROMAN's attorney almost immediately keys in on the $400 discrepancy.
So there was this question about a return on a search warrant. Can you explain what that is?
It's just an itemized list of property that's seized from location during a search warrant search.
Did it include an amount of money seized on it?
Yes.
Does that amount of money match what was written on the evidence bag?
Yes.
So as far as the court knows with the return, more money was taken than what was returned.
That's the way it appeared, yes.
Did you put in an amended search warrant return?
I don't believe so.
So you never corrected your statement to the court?
Correct.
Okay.
Now listen, the best defense to defamation is the truth. So if AFROMAN's attorney can convince the jurors that at a minimum, he believed that the officers really stole his money, he could be cleared of this one. Then the attorney pressed Newland about the statements regarding his brother.
Do you have a brother that worked in law enforcement?
Yes.
Was he the chief of Peoples?
He was.
Why did he leave?
He was charged with some kind of crime through the Adams County Prosecutor's Office. He was subsequently convicted, and he resigned or quit sometime during the process.
And it is a fair statement to say it involved minor children?
I really don't know anything about the investigation. Once this, his issues happened, we kind of just drifted apart again.
So you drifted apart once he had a criminal problem?
Correct.
I don't know, Judge. It's sounding like AFROMAN wasn't too far off.
Has anybody asked you about that prior to 2022 when he was charged?
No.
No one asked you about your brother?
It was just on a smaller scale. I was asked about it, and then that was it. It wasn't shared, and I wasn't put in music videos and everything else because of that reason.
But your brother's criminal charge and everything was in the front page of the local newspaper, correct?
Yeah.
So everybody in Adams County knew that your brother was charged.
Correct.
So what are we talking about, Brian? Next, the attorney challenges whether Newland's reputation was actually damaged by AFROMAN, or if it was already damaged.
Have you ever been accused before of stealing money from traffic stops?
Yes.
It was not Mr. Foreman that accused you, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now you're claiming that by being called a thief, you were painted in a false light.
Yes.
And what exactly does that mean?
That I was being painted in a false light.
You've been accused of stealing from traffic stops before. Okay.
Never to this extent.
Okay.
Never to this broad,
But you would agree there is some similarity here. Money was seized here too.
Correct.
All right. Next up was Officer Lisa Phillips. And again, the claims for her is that AFROMAN has made many statements about her gender, her orientation, and he said that she looks and sounds like a man. So to start off her direct examination, Lisa talks about her family life.
You have a husband?
Yes, sir.
You have a child?
Yes, sir.
How old is your child?
She's 21.
And then the attorney jumps to the very first post AFROMAN made about Lisa.
Okay, down near the bottom of that first paragraph, has anybody in Adams County verified her vagina? If you haven't, you should, or she might whop out something bigger than yours. And then down below a little further, my name for this particular officer is Lieutenant Mona Lickumlow Lisa.
Now, if it's not clear, AFROMAN has created nicknames for each of the officers. And for Lisa, he calls her Lieutenant Lickumlow Lisa. And in the song, Why You Disconnected My Video Camera, He repeatedly calls her this name and makes some other statements. So that video is played for the jury.
Lieutenant, look at low, Lisa. Stop looking at back there. That's your problem. Lieutenant, look at low, Lisa. My ex-wife just like Lisa. She jealous of me.
Lieutenant Lick'em-Low Lisa ate my ex-wife just like pizza. Is that what you understood that to say?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'd sue his ass too.
Let's go to the next one. That's the same thing on a different platform. Do you know what? Can you tell what platform that is?
Search YouTube.
Exhibit 24. That's a different date from the other two.
Yes.
25.
Number 25.
Y'all gonna keep playing this video of this man calling her Lick'em-Low Lisa? We get it. He posted it on every platform. We get it.
And is that a different date? Can you tell, Lisa? Sorry.
Yes, sir. It's October 4th of 2022.
Thank you. Different date. Okay.
And then he made a remix. So that's played.
Came to town. Pizza. She raided my house. She disconnected my camera. Then she went down on my spouse. Shoot, you are. I would never try to punch you. I thought I cracked some musical jokes that I didn't know they hurt you that bad. I'm sorry. I think you had a nice little lady. I didn't know you was a lot. I'm sorry. I was just having fun with the man. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. Oh, man, Jesus. Hang on, let's take a little break, everybody.
That it?
Child, they ended up playing the entire 15-minute video of AFROMAN calling this lady Lieutenant Lick'em-Low Lisa while she cried on the stand. The day ended at the end of the video, so Lisa Phillips will be back tomorrow to continue being called Lick'em-Low Lisa, I guess. Listen, I'm streaming this trial on my YouTube page.
So, yeah, that's... Yeah, AFROMAN for president, man. Like, how many rappers you know will put the police out there like that? That raided their house. Some dudes, all right, I was get a lawyer and I'm done. No, AFROMAN brought it to him, OG style, not scared, not the spirit of fear. All right, we're gonna be done by in a couple minutes. Let's get Galatians 4:16. I'm gonna put up a another video, Chaasadyah. Okay, real quick with the part of the song, and then we got the health, and then we out. All right, go ahead, King. You can bring it out.
Say that was funny, King. Yeah.
Well,
have you rolling?
God.
This
Wow.
book of Galatians, chapter 4, and verse 16. 16, correct?
God.
Yeah. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
So he just putting out the truth. He's just saying this is what they did. They stole money. He's accused of stealing money before. Lick'em-Low Lisa. She sound like a man. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yeah. You got a son or daughter? Yeah, 21.
Right.
You sound like a dude. You close your eyes, you can't tell. You know what I mean? So he just putting out there, like Jake can bid with it on anybody. And he's bidding on the cops, and he's selling merch. He's doing a bunch of stuff. Let me play a little part of this video. You know what I mean? And then we're gonna go to the health, and then we out. But let's play a little part of this video. And he tells the cops, like, look, if you're a crooked cop, you better stop because your family's gonna be making fun of you now. You know what I mean?
Proofs on the internet. Prosecutor David Kelly turned to jelly when they fell. Coward ran to Arizona so he wouldn't catch the hell. Kimmy tried to dodge us. Rogers tried to retire and dip like a rat leaving a sinking ship. AFROMAN will bring it to ya. AFROMAN is gonna do ya. AFROMAN is gonna screw ya. My proof's on the internet. All you crooked cops in the world that's doing wrong, you better stop, you crooked cop, before I put you in a song. Make your family and your friends laugh out loud and sing along. My proof's on the internet. AFROMAN will bring it to ya. AFROMAN is gonna do ya. AFROMAN is gonna screw ya. The proof's on the internet. You think they gonna buy this shit, man?
AFROMAN be wildin', all right? The boy got some, he put him out there, you know, and all praise to the Most High. You know, no spirit of fear, man. You know what I mean? You try to ruin my life, I got something for you. Let's go to Proverbs 4:20. The last video is about oil pulling. It's about getting yourself together health-wise. All right, but Most High is first and foremost. All right, King, you can bring it out.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 20. My son, attend to my words, incline thy ear unto my sayings.
Read on.
Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart.
Go ahead.
For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh.
So the word of God is the ultimate health. Let's go to Jeremiah 30 verse 17. We'll end on that, but we can read a little bit about what the sister's talking about here. We'll watch this for like 2 minutes.
You want to bring out the scripts first?
No, we'll watch a little bit of this, then we're going to end on that. Oh, Slocky, can you see this? La, I'm sorry. All right. My bad. We'll be done in 1 minute. 1 minute. My bad.
You look at my teeth. You can see that they are really white and they also look very strong. So I do contribute that to the coconut oil. Okay, so if you do your own research, you will actually see that you can use several different oils to do the oil pulling, but I personally choose to use coconut oil. So as you may already know, coconut oil is great for a lot of things, right? You can use it for your hair, your skin, you can use it to cook. It is a great oil because it's antiviral, antibacterial, etc. So if you choose to use coconut oil, make sure that the coconut oil is organic and virgin. So what you want to do is make sure that you look at the ingredients in the back and make sure that it says organic, unrefined, cold pressed virgin coconut oil, because you want.
Okay, so do the sake of time, let's So what you do is you put the oil in your mouth, you swish it around for about 20 minutes, you spit it in something like maybe a water bottle or something like that. Don't spit it down your drain because you want to clog up your drain. After you do that, put some water in your mouth, spit that out, brush your teeth. Okay, and that should build up, I'm not a doctor, not a dentist, but the gingivitis, periodontitis, get the bacteria out of your mouth, get in those crevices that you can't get into, and you feel very fresh and detox your mouth, mouth is very important. Okay, let's bring that out. Jeremiah 30 verse 17.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, says the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after.
Okay, so let's restore our health. Most High is going to restore our health, restore us in these last days. Do more research on oil pulling. I definitely recommend it. You know what I mean? Fresh breath and everything. So just don't spit it down your sink. Okay. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Mashiach Yahushai. Hopefully this class was edifying, had a little laugh at the end. And just keep in mind that the Most High is destroying these people. He's going to continue to destroy these people. So you stay focused. You stay doing your thing, fasting, praying, meditating, lighting your incense, following the law, statutes, commandments. Passover's coming up. You know that's going to be crazy week. You know, the Most High going to be destroying them left and right. You know what I mean? Get your spirit right. Get the leaven out of your house. Get the leaven out of your spirit. Put make sure you put your dues, get your dues into whatever city you're going to be celebrating the Passover. We in the last days. Kom Yashala. Shalom.
Kom Yashala. Shalom.
House of Israel. HOI till chariots fly.